Everybody, it's 2021. This is the Dominic Kellman podcast, episode 17, I believe. We've got the amazing, wonderful Anne Kennedy here. Old
Hello.
friend that I met. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through every part of her career from the time we met. And also, she is in Australia, right?
I'm in Australia. The best place to be right now and always.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people raving where you are.
Yeah. There's parties, there's normal life, good weather,
So,
good time.
What's the time over there for you, Loza?
12, lunchtime.
So it is 5 minutes past 1 a.m. So,
are you tired or are you okay?
So first things first, let's start from scratch. How did we meet, Loza? Tell the people.
We met working in a bar.
Yes,
Slug and Lettuce, was it?
Yeah, in Brentwood.
So long ago, yeah. Maybe 9 years ago, I think.
Yeah, man, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, we met then, running our little asses off behind the bar every night.
Exactly. So what people obviously won't know is we met a bit like this. Gone.
Yeah.
It's like we collided in this bar, and I feel, me personally, I connect with you on like a level which is why you're the success you are today, in my opinion. Like your personality shone across 20, 30 different people's personalities.
Aww.
So the person that you were then, to be honest, whatever you've done from then to now, you're just an excelled version of that. I can see the smile on your face. You look very happy. You have clearly a caring husband. There's a lot of things that you have. There's a lot of things that you have that people want, but they're going to still judge you for the things you do. So let's go from absolute scratch. Like, what was your childhood like?
My childhood, busy doing gymnastics most of my childhood, to be honest. From the age of 4, I started gymnastics. I fell in love with it, and I still do it now. I'm 28 now, so it's still a huge part of my life. And that was really, sport took up most of my childhood. So I was very focused as a child and determined, and I think like pretty mature from a young age, just because of my sport. So that I don't think I lived the normal childhood that most people go through.
What do you mean?
And then I don't know, I didn't go to like parties or get to hang out. Like, my friends were my gymnastics friends, so like we'd have sleepovers and stuff, but like when it came to school, I didn't really love school at all. Like, the people at school, I didn't really connect with them.
Did you go to an all-girls school, was it again?
No, I went to Cooper's.
Oh, so you went to Cooper's. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I wonder what Cooper's would think of my career now. So
who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who gives a fuck? But yeah, so school was a little bit hard for me. Then I went to university. I think I just finished university when I started working at the Slug and Lettuce.
Okay, well, you got to slow down for me there, Loza, because you skipped past that there. So what did you find hard about school, and what was it that made you enjoy the gymnastics world? Because that's a tough world in itself. So why did you feel that the gymnastics world was treating you better than the school world?
Just where my interest lies, and the people that I was surrounded by there we shared the same goals, visions, lifestyle, and I am still best friends with most of my gymnastics friends. So we clearly were very compatible. And school, I think, just where the kids they didn't have that focus. They focused on like bullying and I don't know, like they didn't really have much else going on. So I always felt like I was at a different level to everyone else, not necessarily higher or lower, but just like disconnected.
Yeah, not necessarily in an academic way. You mean maybe like mentally, spiritually, you felt
just
different.
like didn't feel that connection with those people. And I do meet people in life now who I connect with. You were one of them at the bar. I don't like have like so many memories as such from working there other than having fun and serving drunk people and stuff. But I do remember having like a good connection with you. So I think that like carries on through my life. Like if I connect with someone, like I really do. And if I don't, then I really don't. Like I think that's just who I grew to be.
Absolutely. But it's a bit different when you're growing up. Sometimes I've definitely been a part of that. Is you're a specific type of personality. There's traits in your personality that you're sometimes trying to dumb and down to be like the people around you, which then leads you to be unhappy anyway, because you're not feeling like you're yourself. So I'm guessing at least you got to escape the school stigma with the gymnastics. You know what I mean? And let's be clear, you are elite in your sport. So talk about that. Like, what was the training like?
The training was tough. Like it was really tough. I wouldn't change it for the world. I was definitely a very high level gymnast, and that went on to high diving. So I've done high diving where you flip off the board, and I love flips and stuff. So yeah, the training was tough. We were training about 20 to 24 hours a week from maybe 10 years old through to, I had an injury when I was 14. So that was when my sort of gymnastics career ended then.
What injury was that?
I snapped my elbow. So I've had that reconstructed now.
Okay.
I guess that was a hard transition as well, because I spent my whole life training. And then I was 14 when that happened. So then I couldn't train for, a long time till I had surgery and recovered and stuff. And then I did kind of have to settle into that kind of normal life that the kids were living. And I didn't really adjust to that very well. So I took up high diving, and that like calmed my mind again and kept me active and stuff. So, but yeah, I think that's maybe where I didn't kind of fit in with the people at school. I didn't understand their take on things or why they acted the way they did.
Are there any examples you can think of at that period that you would differ on?
I just think the girls were really horrible to each other.
Yes, I think throughout life in general.
Yeah, and I'm just not about it. I never have been about it. I just don't entertain that kind of behavior, and I never have from a young age.
100%.
And yeah, I just think that they were always calling out each other or bullying each other about something or else, me included. I used to have a mole here where my eyebrow was, and it never bothered me. And then people started really taking the piss out of it and calling me ugly and calling me fat. And like, I've never been fat. I'm probably at the biggest now than I ever have been. And I'm, slim. And I just weren't about it. I did get the mole removed when I was 18, but I'm not really fussed whether it's there or not. Like it doesn't really make a difference to me now. And I think now I'm older, I could step away and just see that they were insecure about themselves, and that's the reason why they were being horrible to other people. But I guess that's just, I think that's why I was so disconnected to people when I was younger, because I just didn't really like get their actions really.
And just the thing is, it takes making mistakes, being with the wrong people, and just growth in general to be able to become happy with these little insecurities. For example, you wouldn't even believe it, but even me liking a rock song in the area of Essex I grew up in, being black, I remember, it's funny to even think that, but even when I'm growing up, even I had to think twice about telling someone I like this style of music, for example, rather than just because I'm black. So imagine I couldn't even begin to say what a girl who's going through those insecurities about their breast size, about their you know, if they have a dimple, if they have whatever insecurity they may have, I'm guessing weight is usually the biggest one. I mean, those things aren't easy. So do you think at that point maybe your body was developing in a way that they wish they had? Maybe. Did you ever think that?
I don't really know what it is. I think that I've always had this personality where people either find me admirable or they find me very confronting, and it's like one or the other. Like, and I think I have carried that since I was young, because I've always been strong in my opinions of like loving gymnastics and loving do what I do, and I always did what I did because it felt right for me to do it. And I think people were actually on a deeper level jealous of the person that I was, rather than my appearance or what I looked like or what my body was like or anything. I think it can be challenging to be around a strong personality sometimes, especially for people who care about what other people think, and maybe they are actually also strong personalities, but they're not comfortable to sit in who they are for a while.
Absolutely.
I think it's to do with that, because some of those girls that used to be horrible to me, they follow me on Instagram now, and they're my most watched story people. And you know, I'm like, are you admiring me now, or are you supporting me?
Are you hating on me?
Are you hating on me? Are you one of those people that share my stories and you're like, oh my God, look what she's doing? Or, you know, like those kind of, I think when people don't have so much focus in their life, they focus on other people and what they're doing, and it can go one of two ways.
Which I don't think is always their fault as well, because, you know, at the end of the day, Instagram is, or whatever social media platform people are addicted to more than the other, you know, it's forced in your face a lot of the time. And I mean, someone like me, I have been using social media platforms since the first one I think I used was Pixo. You know, I've always been a creative. Creators are going to create whatever it fucking is. So it went from Pixo to when I used to make music to MySpace, and then from MySpace to Facebook to, do you understand? So I know how to manipulate it. I know how to monetize off it. And I know I get it. But people, I think, only in these years now are starting to really understand it. Even things I do, the things I do and you do are completely different, but still get treated in the same way. I still get called out for me saying I licked a bird's arsehole on the weekend, for example.
I still need to try that.
Well, there you go. And you probably still get called out for the things you do. So let's start from, so now you've gone to university, and did you carry on the gymnastics there? Did your arm repair?
I actually was so sad when I had my injury, and I think I went through like a grieving process. Like I didn't even want to step foot back in a gym because I knew I could never be the gymnast that I was. So that's why I started high diving, and then I went to university, and I think it had been about 4 years because I was 14 when it happened and 18 when I went to uni.
Okay.
And I joined the cheerleading team because I figured it was like similar to gymnastics, but it's like totally new.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I loved it so much. I loved cheerleading. I got to tumble, and I got to, for the first time, be in a team sport, because all the sports I'd done were individual. And so I did carry it on there in more of like a fun aspect, and like learned a lot of new skills there that I'd never done before. So that was nice for me. And then I ended up teaching. I ran a little cheer school whilst I was there as well for young girls in cheer, which I loved. Whilst I studied.
So when did you start realizing that your following's growing? Like, did you start just saying, oh, let me put my gymnastics and my tricks and flips and stuff on a platform? Was that something that happened naturally? Or?
Yeah, I think, well, I used to video a lot of stuff just for like learning purposes, so I could record, see what I was doing wrong and improve. And it's funny because I think I didn't have Instagram until my last year of university.
Same. We're the same age, ain't we? I'm 29, 1991.
I'm 92.
All right. So I was 21 when Instagram came out, and that was my last year of uni. So
yeah, so it came out. I didn't join Instagram for quite a while because I was never really much of a social media person. I remember people using Twitter and stuff, and I just didn't like get it. And then Instagram came out, and then I started to realize there was somewhere that I could like document my progress. So then I started putting some stuff up on Instagram, but I didn't really use it that much. But yeah, it did start growing. I think I joined Instagram at the right time where people were fascinated by flips and tricks, and my stuff got onto the explore page or whatever. And suddenly I had like a couple thousand followers, and everyone was like, how have you got so many followers?
In my opinion, you was TikTok before what TikTok is now. Because I've followed what you've done for many years, and
yeah,
in my opinion, you saw way ahead of time. You know, getting higher level production, better camera angles, music in the background, these types of things people weren't necessarily doing. And of course, you have a great personality. You're great looking, great body. It's just gonna connect, right?
Yeah, I guess. And and you're right. I think like the whole TikTok now, everyone has music and cool videos and stuff. And I when I was starting doing videos on Instagram, they would be 15 seconds. It was when they were that short.
Okay.
And I it was only 15 seconds. So everything I did was like sped up a million times to like try and fit it in 15 seconds. And I guess just it grew because maybe I had something different to offer than just like pictures at a restaurant, or like I was just training and people liked to follow the training progress and the cool flips and stuff. And then when it really grew was when I taught. So I was now coaching adults gymnastics.
Okay.
So we've skipped a bit. After university, I worked with you and a couple of other jobs and went traveling.
Yeah.
And then when I got back from traveling, I started teaching gymnastics as to adults. And then shortly after that, a YouTuber got in contact with me. I didn't know he was like a YouTuber as such at the time.
Had you made a channel at that point? Had you made a channel?
No.
Oh, you hadn't? Okay.
No, I hadn't. No, I was just on Instagram. I think I had about 8,000 followers. And this guy called Gabriel Say, you might know him, I'm not sure. He's an English YouTuber. He's a huge bodybuilder. He's like massive. And he's a really great guy. He just messaged me saying, hey, I'm doing this series on YouTube and it's bodybuilder learning different sports. Can you do a lesson with me? And can I film it for my YouTube? I was like, yeah, of course. I didn't look too much into him as a person. Like I didn't want to have any thoughts before I met him. Like I like to just meet people as they are. And then he filmed the YouTube, and shortly after that, it was a really fun session. He was really good. I taught him a front flip in the session, and he got it, and it was great fun. And then I went away to do my yoga teacher training to Bali, so I didn't have any like Wi-Fi, and it was in the days where you didn't have like, you couldn't pay for internet kind of thing away. So I just would log on to Wi-Fi randomly if I got it.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was so nice. And then after about 2 weeks away, so I was away for 4 weeks, I found a Wi-Fi spot, and my following had gone up to like 15,000. And I was like, is this a joke? Like what's happening? Is there a bug? How have I just grown? Like I've hit 10K. That was I don't know. I just wanted to hit 10K when I was at 8K.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so hold on. What was that like then for you? What? So you've now got this following out of nowhere. Yeah. What is going through your mind at this point?
Well, I just thought that it was not real at first. I was just like, surely there's something going wrong here. And then I looked at like the message request box, and a lot of people had written to me say, hey, I've seen you on the video with Gabriel Say. So I didn't realize he'd even released the YouTube. And then little did I know he had at the time like 90K subscribers on YouTube. So a lot of them came over to my page. So, I mean, I didn't really think much of it other than I'll just keep providing the content that I was. But I did think it was pretty cool that my page was getting out there, and it would be good for my business to like get new clients and stuff. So I was appreciative of that.
But also for someone like you, you're creative, right? So
yeah.
What was your business acumen like at this point? Did you have any idea what you could do to make money out of that situation at that point? Even if you think money even existed on Instagram at that point?
No, I didn't know about money existing on Instagram then. And still now, I've only done like 2 campaigns in my life on Instagram that I've got paid for. Just people think that I have an Instagram business, but I don't at all.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that video has had a huge impact on my career now.
Okay.
With the OnlyFans. So I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Of course.
Yeah, so I just saw it as like I'd be getting new clients for gymnastics. That was kind of all I saw it for. So I didn't think too much into it. I was just happy that my page was getting seen and I could teach some more people, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, and obviously, before we go into the OnlyFans, because we're gonna get there, like, what was dealing with the influx of attention and people messaging you like at that point? Were you someone that messaged everybody back? Were you crying because of bad comments? Did you not give a fuck? Like, what was that experience?
No, I've never cared about comments or anything. And at the time, I think my page was still small enough that people didn't see me as I feel like now my pages are bigger. People forget that I'm a real human and they'll say what they want.
I know what you mean.
Back then, I think back then they still understood that I was a person, and they were going to be honest.
How the hell can you hate on that? That page is full of it's the epitome of what you are. It's just giving off great energy, good vibes, entertaining videos. You can only be a hater if you are hating on them videos, like, or a troll, whatever you want to call it.
It's just people that are jealous. That's literally it. So yeah, I don't mind. And the influx of following they were males, and in my experience, men are much nicer online than women. Yeah, for sure. TikTok's a little bit different, but at the time I had all these males admiring the strength that I had and the skills that I was doing. And it's so funny when I look at that video, because it was years, I was 22 or something, and I was like so innocently teaching this man flips. There was nothing more to it.
It is crazy.
That's all. Like, I was just very innocently teaching this man flips, and it went viral. The YouTube video, it has like 5 million views.
Exactly.
And thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of comments about me in a nice way, but in a like
sexual way.
You know, completely sexual, 100% sexual.
Okay.
All of them. And he's a black dude, and everyone's like, "Did you give her the BBC?" And I'm like, "What's a BBC?" You know, I learned so much. So I think there was like a little white blonde girl, innocent, teaching, and this big black dude, like, and it blew my mind how invested people get into YouTube videos. Then there'd be boys
really do.
It's mind blowing. They're like, "Oh my God, boys, stop at like 4 minutes 06 and then type your number, thank me later." And it's just like me doing the splits or something.
It does blow my mind the way the comments go, but the YouTube comments are so funny as well at the same time.
Yeah, they are funny. They're definitely entertaining, but so that brought in a lot of male attention that sexualized me for years. And then I guess because my page was growing, like it grew rapidly, it continued to incline pretty fast over the next couple of years. It hasn't now. Yeah. I'm completely censored on Instagram now since I started talking about women's health and sexual health and you know, things we need to speak about. Absolutely. Since I started talking about that, Instagram censored me. I think at one point I had 80K and now I'm down to 70K. I get messages every day from people saying, "I didn't unfollow you and I've just searched a page and like it's unfollowed you." Like Instagram's up to something. I don't really give a fuck. there's nothing I can do about it.
There's a lot of shadow banning and stuff on there now. The level of censorship that they're trying to impose on everyone's lives across every social media platform in schools, I think it's disgusting. So the reason, a big reason to this podcast for me is to have conversations like this, to get deep into different subjects that people need to understand, because it must be hard for you as someone who's so focused on the empowerment of women. You're doing something online that people look down upon. But if that person just took a moment to do this, talk and understand what you're doing, because even me as a bloke, I'm a normal bloke. I'm never going to fully understand what you're doing. Yeah. But our chance to get into that. So let's go into that now. So before starting the OnlyFans, so people know you do this with your husband, right?
It's mainly solo stuff. He definitely helps me. He's a part of it. He helps me film, photograph, supports me, says that he's my target audience. He's like, this pose looks good, or you look good from here. And I'm like, really? I'm like laying there thinking, surely I don't look good right now. And then I'll like look at the pictures. I'm like, oh, is that me? You did good.
So before we get into the good stuff, let's talk about your journey in how people found out, like your parents and so on. Are you able to discuss that?
Yeah. So I'll start with the reason why I decided to do it. So since I had all of those male following for years, because OnlyFans has been around for a long time. For years, people were asking me, please, can you do OnlyFans? Please, can I have nudes? And I'm like, no. And I was in a different relationship before, and it's just something that would have been an absolute no anyway, and I respected that. But I kind of knew what OnlyFans was. And then at that time, I just didn't understand, one, how you could really make money from it, or two, like I was so invested in my business of coaching and doing retreats and stuff back then. I didn't really need another or think about another avenue.
And sorry to cut you as well, just so that the people watching understand, is that OnlyFans, it did not begin as something to do for sexual content. It began as a way of, for example, Jay-Z selling like a VIP experience of them being in their lives, or things like that. It was along those lines of like an exclusive look into maybe celebrities, or
a way that you can support the people that you like.
A bit like Cash App, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't have that or know what it is, but it's the way for you.
That would be, they'll probably give you even more revenue than you probably already have. Sorry to cut you. Continue. Sorry.
That's all right. It's a way that you can support and connect with more. So if you think about me having 70,000 followers on Instagram, I actually have my DMs or like my story replies turned off now, because I had so many messages constantly that I didn't have the time or energy to respond to. And I felt bad if I read them, but I couldn't reply. Then it looks like I was ignoring them, It's OnlyFans is a way that you're paying a small subscription service. So the person you're paying for is then probably more likely to reply to you, one, because there's going to be way less fans on there actually paying, and two, you are paying for their time. I think people don't realize, like, as creatives, like, this is how we earn money. We don't like get paid hourly for doing certain jobs, or it's like we are providing all of this content for you for free. We can't continue doing that if we don't have an earnings.
Exactly.
So it's but
and they don't, they don't get like the way not earning plays into you not earning, which then goes into you not being the best creative you can be.
Yeah, because you have to go to work to earn, and then you haven't got energy to create. So it's a cycle that I think people need to understand a bit more. But yeah, so I was previously with someone, and that relationship ended, and I was in a very sticky situation. We owned a house together. We still do. He still hasn't.
In Australia?
No, in England.
Oh, in England. Okay.
Yeah, I only moved to Australia last year.
Okay.
So I was with someone in England. I was living in Upminster, and we were together for 5 years, and then I had enough. But we had owned a house for a couple of years together, and then that was like January 2019. And I couldn't really live anywhere else. Like, you know, because I'm paying a mortgage.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to rent somewhere else. And then it was kind of like I was trying to get out of this relationship. And although the relationship was over, I was still living there part-time because I didn't have any other options. You know, I couldn't afford rent in another place. I also knew once that relationship was over, I did not want to live in England. Like, I was only there for him. So I didn't want to commit to like a 12-month rent because I wanted to get out as soon as I could. All these situations that when people judge when people choose to do OnlyFans and stuff, I think that you're only judging the surface level. You don't know what situation that they are in, that they are so desperate to get out of, that they're finding another means of income. So that was why I did it. But I broke up with him like January, and then I've managed to get some time away. Like, I would fly to New York because my business partner at the time, she was American, and we'd set up a workshop and I'd be able to stay with her. So I literally would do this workshop for handstands and use that money to like do my flight. So I wasn't earning money, but I wasn't losing money. And I'd go like Friday to Monday just so I could be out of that house whilst he was home at the weekends. And then he worked normal hours in the daytime, and I worked mornings and evenings teaching. So during the week, we didn't really have to cross paths, even though I was staying there. So that was kind of how my life was for a few months, like going to America for 4 days every other weekend just to like be able to get out. And I wasn't on OnlyFans at this time, but that was the kind of situation that I was in, and it was really fucking hard to deal with. Yeah. And then then around August, James slid into my DMs.
Hi, James.
And yeah, he's in the bedroom. He slid into my DMs August 2019. He'd messaged me a few times before, but I didn't get around to seeing it. And then we finally started chatting on a completely non-sexual level. He also does calisthenics like me. So we had a lot of chat about training and dogs and psychedelics and, you know, like life experiences and kind of how me and you, I guess, chat, you know, like pure life stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, you know, close to 8, however many years ago. And I feel like that's only enhanced now. Even being able to have this conversation with you really does make me happy and smile, because I'll go into how I discovered that you was on OnlyFans and stuff like that once you explain your story.
Oh yeah. So I started chatting to James. I had a retreat in Bali that I was teaching. I went there for 3 weeks, and then James obviously was in Australia, and he was like, do you want to come and train with me after Bali? And I was just like, yeah, I'm in such an awful situation at home. Like, I was doing anything to stay away whilst the guy was sorting out. Yeah, so I came to Australia and we just fully connected. We fell in love and we got married 6 weeks later. So
that's amazing.
And it was the best thing we've ever done. We just celebrated our first wedding anniversary last month.
Oh, congratulations to you both, honestly.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's lovely when you find that. So then obviously I was in this position where I was still paying a mortgage at home. I was still paying, you know, phone bill, like all of the other things I had in England. And then
that sounds like stress and chaos.
Yeah. And then I was going to start a new life in Australia. So I said to James, just because someone had messaged me like that day saying, can you do OnlyFans? And I was like, look, James, what do you think of this? I didn't really know what to expect, what I would do. We chatted about it, and he was just like, yeah, go for it. Like, why not? So we just went for it. And it's the best thing we've ever done for our marriage, for our finances, for our whole lifestyle. Just there is not one con, in my opinion, and no negative aspect of it for me personally. In our relationship, but in our life, for me doing OnlyFans,
what would you say is the best thing it's done for you both?
It's given us so much time, like freedom and time. We can do what we want every day, you know, like he does work. He has a few online clients because he's a PT, but there's no stress on him. If he doesn't have work for a week, it doesn't like matter financially.
Yeah.
We spend our days walking the dogs, waking up, training together, going on the jet ski. Like it's given us the freedom and time to do what life is about. Basically, we don't have to go to work at separate jobs and come home from work tired. Someone needs to cook dinner, someone needs to clean up. It's that, for me, is the reason why I do it. And when we have kids, we're going to have all of that time to invest in our children. So it's just, that's the best thing for me. Obviously, that comes from having a high income.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that like money is the best thing, because money doesn't really mean anything to me. But what it does mean is freedom. So it gives us freedom to live the life that like we want. And James really wants to get into photography and videography. He's really awesome at it. But obviously, you know how it is trying to invest into a business. If you don't have any finances to invest in that business, it's hard. So, I bought him a drone for Christmas and he's started making awesome videos. It's that financial abundance that allows us to keep progressing in the areas that we want to learn about. So that's really the best thing for me.
So because this is my thing. Like, I'm a person that I've always felt very weird compared to other people. I'm lucky that I've got core friends that I've grown up with, from some since I was born, that I'm still close with now. Fuck knows, if I had to make new friends in bloody secondary school or sixth form, God knows where I'd be today. But because sometimes I feel the way I am, the way I think, just like yourself, is very out there, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna live my life how happy I want to. I wish I could do it on the level that you do it. I've always lived my life the way I want to, but the job I do, for example, my plumbing job, it gives me good money, but some days I despise it, and I'm battling mentally sometimes. Why do I have to do this every day of my life to be able to enjoy my life and be the best Dominic I can be? So I found out about you doing OnlyFans just through. It was
What's that group?
It was weird to me because I'm on Reddit, right?
So
Reddit, Reddit is like I'm trying to think what I use it on there for certain things just to do with podcasting and stuff like that. And someone literally is just sending photos of you in there and videos. And my brain, I'm literally just going, what? I know this person. So from my view, again, I want to give you the best version of my thoughts at that time. So that's happened. Of course, I'm shocked. But again, I don't judge. I have done so much fuckery in my 29 years. I will tell you now, I did not judge straight away. I don't judge. All I wanted, and which is what I feel that I've been selfish enough to get from this podcast today, all I wanted to know is that you were happy.
I'm so happy.
That you weren't, you didn't feel mentally being pushed into this or being brainwashed into this, or you had money issues. That's what my thought process did straight away.
That's a lot of people think, like, why are you doing that? It's because people say you don't have anything else to offer. And I'm like, honey, I have offered myself fully my whole life, worked so many jobs. When I met you, I was working 3 jobs, trying to scrape together money on my £6 an hour wage. I'm not about that life.
Trust me.
I want to live my life.
They have no idea, Lauren. They have no idea. Trust me.
I'm not going to work a respectable receptionist job or respectable personal training job. Personal training, I love it. I'm never going to make enough money to own my house, to provide for my children, to be able to take my friends for dinner. That is it for me. And I also, at first, obviously, I was a little bit like, I didn't know how it was going to go. And I knew that some people would be so fascinated that they'd see me naked and things would go around and stuff. But like, wholly on a spiritual level, I am who I am inside of this physical casing. So looking at my tits or my pussy or my arsehole or whatever you want to look at, that is literally just a bit of flesh. You don't know who I am by what I look like on the outside, and that's how I see it. When people are like, I've seen your pussy, I'm like, oh, is that the only pussy you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Like, have you never seen your tits before?
The internet
Seriously.
is a really scary, crazy place. And I mean, even with this podcast that we're doing now, I mean, some of the things people message me or they ring me about, or people that I can't remember that I bump into, they will tell me about, well, you had this opinion 6 months ago, and at 22 minutes on this video, you said, and I'm just like,
yeah,
bro, why the fuck do you care so much about what the fuck I'm saying or doing?
Also, you just reminded me, a reason why I really love it is because it's pushing me to grow in so many ways, like, and expand my mind. Like 6 months ago, I did a Q&A on Instagram because I've always spoke about sex, and like I'm vanilla. I'm really vanilla when it comes to sex, but I'm enjoy it and I have amazing experiences, but I'm not wildly adventurous. And people would be like, someone asked me, do you spit or swallow? And my reaction 6 months ago was like, if someone tried to come in my mouth, I'd tell them to get the fuck out my room. Like, that was who I was then. And then I've speak to my fans, and I speak to this, and I start seeing other people's opinions and girls like and what boys like. You know, it's opened so many conversations. Like, now you can give me a facial, I can lick it off your dick, I can swallow it, I can, you know, it's like, and there's no biggie about it. And if someone wants to judge me, then I don't really care. It's just like, it's really, and you said about like licking the girl's ass last weekend. Like, I didn't even know that eating ass was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. I've been telling my mates, listen, but the thing is, what's great, Loza, what's great is I've been telling the geezers, listen, I've been getting my arsehole licked for about 8-9 years, mate. And it's funny, like, some of my friends gradually, they're like, oh, no, Dom, I'm not on that. Then gradually, now they're like, Dom, you know what, mate? Try to go. So I think it's all about just accepting what you like and what you do. But again, it depends on your surroundings. So again, I'll go back to what was your parents like? You know, what was that conversation like?
So I just, like, I'm really close with my mom and my nan, and I'm not very close with my dad. So I haven't discussed it with him because I don't really think that it's, I mean, if he know, like, him and my mom and dad are still together, but me and my mum are like super close. She's always been really open with me growing up, and we've always had open conversations. Like, I've never hidden anything from her ever. I told her the first time I had sex. I told her the first time I took drugs. I've told her.
I'm the same with my mum as well, by the way.
Yeah. So I literally was just like, Mum, I'm going to try this OnlyFans. She was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, well, I'm 28 years old and I've got a double life to pay for, and I'm going to try it and I see how it goes. And she was like, okay, well, you know, she would never stop me doing something that I wanted to do. At first she was just like, oh, just don't show your vagina. And I didn't for months. I was really eased my way in and made sure that every single thing I'd done, I was doing it from a place of me being comfortable with that. So, and then after like the first week, I think I made about $8,000 in a week. Yeah. So I said to her, Mum, I've just made 8,000. She was like, oh my God. She was like, wow, that's awesome. Let's go. And then, you know, now we're 13 months into it. Like she's not embarrassed of me. She's not ashamed of me. She thinks it's brilliant. She thinks it's
beautiful, man. That is really,
she'll tell all her friends, like, that's what Lauren does now. It's fantastic. You know, she's going to own her house fully outright in a couple of years.
Of course.
She hasn't got to have a 30-year mortgage to pay for. Like, she's not going to ever have to ask me for help, because I don't want to be 28 years old asking my mum for help. Really, I know people do it and they're in that situation, and I'm sad for that. But it's like, I have this opportunity to just be myself and become very financially stable, and she's really proud of it now. Like, she really is.
No,
I even send it
I
to
think
some of
that's
my nudes. I'm like, look at this nude, I look so good. And she's like, woo.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. I was just saying it's a beautiful thing because listen, I'm a bloke. I always just think of if I have a daughter, how would I feel if that happened? But again, I should shut the fuck up because I should not be able to speak on what women do or their bodies or what they do for money. Because at the end of the day, if someone said to me tomorrow, Dom, you're gonna make 10 grand if you just take pictures of your bell end on OnlyFans tomorrow, guess what I'm doing? I'm gonna take pictures of every fucking thing I can take a picture of to get 10 grand in my bank account next week. So who the fuck am I to think about is it right or wrong? Because what does that even mean? So I think to wrap up, like what's on the horizon for you? Have you had any sort of negative backlash from people from that you used to know or family or anything like that, really?
No, even my brother, he'll message me and he's like, I'm fucking proud of you, Lauren. Like, well done for smashing life. And that's a brother. And he's always been a very protective brother. Yeah. And I really hope that people have enough respect that if they do come across my content, they won't send it to him to tease him. Like, that's something that isn't in my control. But I'm sure look, no, it's never happened. And I hope that his mates know him well enough that they would get decked the fuck out if they did anything like that. So but even then, I don't think, like, he knows what I do. It's not a secret. So I think it's just, I haven't had anything negative. People say to me, you know, what about your future? And you're not, like, what, it might affect your employment. I'm like, I have been self-employed since I was 22 years old. I am never going to work for someone. I can't. It's not in my makeup.
I've been self-employed 5.5 years now, nearly 6 years. Like,
I just can't do it. There'll be another way for me to make money. But I just think it's a fantastic platform for me and the person that I am, and being open about it. And also, you know, when people do challenge me about it and they say, you know, it's private, or it's, you know, why do you do that? What about people seeing you? I'm like, if you just flip your perspective of, like, without sex, we as a race won't be here.
And every person has sex.
We cannot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, we cannot continue living without sex. So there is so much, like, I've never really watched porn, but since I do this as a job, like, I like to get inspiration, I guess.
Of course.
So I started watching some porn, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, those girls do not look like they're really having a good time, and it's so sad.
Porn has completely changed. Porn isn't porn anymore. No. It's not this high-produced, experience like of me growing up. Because I can tell you, I'm a boy, I've been watching porn since however long, since I was, I don't know, 11, 12. And, you know, the whole even selling point of OnlyFans, it's just giving you that individual experience as if it's happening to you on your phone. Even the view of it as in full phone view, girls doing solo acts or even having sexual intercourse on the phone with the view fully through the phone, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, not like that.
Like a point of view for you.
Like it's a high produced film. All these selling points, to be honest, it is what makes men feel it's that more gritty, I guess, and a bit more, I guess, real compared to the high produced stuff.
Yeah. And like, it's just, I've had so many men who join and they start messaging me in this, like, foul, awful language. And, like, you know, someone said to me once, like, I want to see you rub your clit so hard you're screaming. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be screaming from pleasure. So no, like, you need to learn how to make women feel good. And I think that sex has lost its real special thing. Like, it's special. It's so special. Having
yeah.
sex, having that connection with someone and that intimacy is so fucking special. And if you can make a girl orgasm, well, she's gonna fucking love you forever, or she's gonna love her toy. You choose. And if you start to watch real porn, and not you, but people who are listening, if you start to watch really what really happens when a girl is coming and what really gets her there, and it's none of this, nah, that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
For men who only know how to fuck a bird, I'm so sorry for you. And the reason,
well, it's funny because my last tweet, that I literally put up about, I don't know, 2 hours ago, I said, 1 second. I said, lads, if you lot ain't realized that sex for the first time with a new gallus is an audition, then you need to take time and get that tech right.
Yeah. And it's
you only learn, boys watch porn, and then it's hopefully an uphill battle. But in my opinion, I think for men it's an uphill battle. You can only get better, but then there's a plateau where you get worse, where you get maybe more selfish, or you can't be asked. Like, for example, I'm 29 now, so I used to be able to bang for hours on end, girl after girl, whatever. Now I'm like, I can have sex once, and I'm like, I'm all right, I'm fine. Like, my drive isn't the same. I still have the horniness like I always do, but it's not like the same level, or you don't actually care as much about if you're making the girl have as good of a time as maybe when I was 23. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, men just like have sex to come, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And I know a lot of people are learning now, and they're feeling different. And I guess it comes with being like in relationships and having the ability to communicate with each other. Because I didn't when I was younger. Before I was 22, I'd never had an orgasm during sex. Okay. I didn't really know what it was. I put on a performance for a man to make him feel good, because women are under that impression that, like, if the man doesn't come, it's game over, or if he loses his hard on, it's the end of the world, or if you don't look like you enjoy getting fucked by him. Like, I faked so many orgasms when I was younger because I was like so over the sex, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come, can you like fucking hurry up and get done now? It's just like, and it's so sad that is how sex goes down a lot of the time, when really it's like, when it becomes an experience between the two of you, and you just enjoy that connection, and that it doesn't matter how long or short it is or what's going on, and really you're thinking about like the becoming one. It's just life changing, and I want everyone to be able to experience that
100%,
because that is like real like love. And just like, people don't have the communication that they need, and I understand why, because I don't know why it's embarrassing to just be like, hey, you're not touching my clit right now, because you don't want to embarrass someone and then be like, can they not fucking see where my clit is? Like, do they even know what a clit is?
Do you know what though? As a bloke, you
don't.
I've been in them situations where, sorry, say again.
Do you know? When do you learn? How do you know? I didn't.
Well, how do I know where to find the clit?
Yeah. How do you know where to find the clit? When did you learn to find the clit?
I learned because okay. So I had only made a girl come in one of our relationships. She could only come from me licking her out, right?
Right.
So I started to sort of process, what was it? Where was it that was making it come? That was from oral, though. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I'll be honest, I think I still struggle to make girls come through penetration, sorry, in my opinion. I have done, but I still think I still feel girls feel different, better parts of their vagina being penetrated with in different ways and can come in different ways. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like textbook.
And it's so personal to the girl as well. That's why it's so important. Like if I'm going to have an orgasm during sex, I have to be on top. I have to have the clit stimulated constantly, rubbing backwards and forwards. And in porn, all you ever see is up and down, bounce, 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 bounce. And it's like, yeah, it still feels nice, but it's not going to make you come. And it probably feels nicer for the boy with the pussy going up and down rather than sat on there rubbing your clit on his pelvis. But I don't know if you've done it or not. 10 out of 10, that's how girls come on top. And many girls are afraid to do that. And like, girls, if you're watching this, I don't know who's going to be your audience here, but like, the minute a man sees you fully enjoying yourself on top, that and you actually bringing yourself to orgasm, they're going to go wild for it. Like,
well,
but
I'll
it's
tell
like,
you what,
I don't know why girls find it embarrassing to like sit there and do what feels good for them. They're always so focused on what feels good for the man. And it's like, yes, sex still feels nice. It's still a nice sensation with the coming in and out, but it is not going to make you orgasm. And without orgasm, life is very sad.
Yeah, because I mean, even myself, because I did a podcast with Dominatrix, Madam Esmeralda. That's episode 5. So go and have a look at that, guys, if you haven't seen that already. And I've had a session with her, and I did the vanilla side of things because she does very extreme things. So even that experience doing a vanilla session with her, and we're going to talk about that in another podcast that I do with her, the experience, because but even to this day now, I mean, I've had a lot of sex. I feel like I've had sex with a lot of women. I've partied a lot. I've traveled a lot. You know, I'm at a stage in my life where that experience, it's funny we're having this conversation because that experience even now still is so prevalent in my head. And I feel like it's made me think about sex and myself so much differently.
In such a different way
than ever. So I can imagine how you and your husband feel in this world now, doing OnlyFans together and helping each other, basically just winning life. It must just be a really beautiful feeling, and to have your family back in, like nothing's gonna stop you, Lauren. So keep it up, man. Keep the smile, keep up the good work, man.
It's a really beautiful thing as well, because going back to the communication, I have always been I've never really wanted to say anything that upset anyone. So I was that girl that was afraid to say things at the time. But you know, where it's like, now we have OnlyFans and now we have these discussions with other people, like, and them saying, have you had your ass eaten? And I'm like, no, but because there's an external source saying, like, if I might say to James, hey, do you want to eat my ass today? There's like a kick forwards. We haven't done that yet. I'm still like on the edge. I want to do it, the experience.
Get drunk and go from there, I'd say.
Yeah, and I just feel like it opens your level of experience. Like, I've always been a big no to anal. Like, just doesn't sit right with me in my mind. But I have so many friends who love it. And then I think when you find someone that you're comfortable to do stuff with, and you can say, can we try this to see if we like it or not? You know, it's just a different take on it. So I think, like, so I put as one of my goals this year to expand my sexual experiences. So like do more with my husband, and where I don't like really know that area, it's nice that I have these fans to talk to. They you know, it's not, someone suggested that I eat James's ass, and in my head I'm like, how, like, what's the best position to do that, or like how you know what I mean? And then
up, like legs up for Kimbo.
Put him on his back, lift his legs up, blah blah blah. Or and then they're like, you know, if he's really okay with his self and his feminine side, put him on his hands and knees and lick his ass from behind. And I'm like, oh,
there's trust me, I've done them all. There's many positions,
like,
but
I just think it makes our life so much fun and explorative. So if anyone comes to me saying, you know, I think what you do is disgusting, and I'm like, I think you've got a closed mind. That's it.
Exactly.
That's all you can say. I'm sorry that you think what I do is disgusting, but
yeah, but I'm going to continue.
Yeah, it's my choice to do that, and it's what we love. And what, has your parents never watched porn before? Has your, you know,
it's really opened my mind to things a lot.
Yeah, have they never watched porn before?
Yeah. Well, Lauren, is there anything else you want to say just before we depart?
Nah, I'm all good. I think I've said everything. We both need to keep doing what we're doing and keep not worrying about what anyone else says or thinks. And as long as what we are doing feels right to us, you know, one day we're not gonna be here anymore. So all of those judgments and opinions, they don't mean fuck all anyway, because they'll be like, oh, do you remember Lauren? You remember that girl that did porn? Or, you know, it's like, one day I'm not even going to be here. So I may as well just enjoy my life whilst I am here.
No, I fully understand.
I hope that everyone else does that. Like, we are only here once. Like, we're literally here to have a good time. We're not here to slave for someone else. We're not here to struggle. There is an abundance of everything for everyone.
I completely agree, Loza. And listen, you look fabulous. I hope that you and your husband are okay in this crazy COVID year. We're starting 2021 on a good note. We can always do another podcast in the next 6-7 months, see where you've been to.
See where I'm at, see if I had my arse eaten yet.
Yeah, exactly. We can see if your ass has been eaten. So listen, it's been a pleasure to see you. Please stay in contact. Love you. You're looking amazing. And just keep up the good work.
Thank you. And you.
Thank you, darling. Love you. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.